hair and felt like it needed something more, but didn't want to spend a lot of time styling it? One way to add detail to almost any hairstyle is a small accent braid. Accent braids are popular because they are easy to create, they work with almost any hair type, and they can make a simple hairstyle look more interesting. Today, I'm going to demonstrate how to create a basic 3-strand braid. This type of braid is more of an accessory than for function and can be used with many different looks. We will go through the first 3 steps. First, preparing the hair. Second, dividing the hair into 3 sections. And finally, weaving the hair together to create the braid. I have been braiding my own hair for a couple of years now, and sometimes use small braids like this in my hair, so this is a skill I'm familiar with. The first step is preparing the hair. Before creating a braid, it is important to make sure there are no tangles. If there are tangles in your hair, it can make the braid uneven and hard to work with. For this demonstration, I will be grabbing a small section of my hair. Because this is a small accent braid, I do not need to grab my entire head of hair. As I brush through my hair, I'm making sure there are no knots or tangles. Even though this may seem like a small step, this can determine the outcome of how the braid looks. Another benefit of preparing the hair is it can make the braid last longer throughout the day. Once this section is brushed out and separated from the rest of my hair, we are ready to move on to the next section, or the next step. The second step is separating the hair into 3 sections. When creating a braid, a 3-strand braid, it is important to make sure there are 3 separate pieces. While the pieces do not have to be perfectly even, it is important to make sure that they are close in size so then they are easier to work with. As you can see, I now have a right, left, and middle section. One mistake beginners often make when creating a braid is mixing the hair together. It is important to make sure that the braid's separated because this makes the process easier to work with. Now that the hair is separated and organized, we can move on to the final step. The final step is weaving the hair together. First, you take the right section and you cross it over the middle. Now the right side is the new middle. Now you take the left section and you cross it over the middle. And now the left section is the new middle. You repeat this process right over middle, left over middle. One thing that helps create a neat braid is consistent tension. If the braid is pulled too loosely, it can fall apart, and if the braid is pulled too tightly, it can look unnatural. Because this is a small accent braid, it does not take a long time to complete. Now that the braid is complete, I can secure it with a hair tie. One thing, you can also customize this braid by making it thinner, thicker, tighter, or looser, depending on the look you want. Now that the braid is complete, this brings us to the end of the demonstration. Today, I demonstrated how to create a basic 3-strand accent braid. First, we prepared the hair. Second, we separated the hair into 3 separate pieces. Finally, we wove the sections together to create the braid. A small accent braid is an easy way to elevate any hairstyle, and with a few minutes and a bit of practice, a small accent braid can make an ordinary hairstyle look more interesting. Thank you.